Bitcoin is one of the most hotly contested topics within investing. I know a lot of people that are a lot smarter than I am that think holding Bitcoin adds incredible value to any portfolio. And of course, there's the crowd that also surpasses my intelligence that think it is a complete waste of space within your portfolio. I even heard of a guy that said he wouldn't buy all the Bitcoin in the world for $25. We can safely assume one thing by using the simple process of elimination here. I'm not very smart. But regarding Bitcoin, I land somewhere in the middle. I think I've set up a solid system for trading Bitcoin. In this video, I'm going to share the details of the new system that I'll be implementing into my portfolio moving forward. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Jeff Teeples, and here we aim to grow your wealth with simple, time-tested solutions. I started a YouTube memberships a while back, and I wanted to give an official shout out to the 9 of you that have joined the YouTube membership. Thank you to Aaron White, TL, Allison Teeples, Mindy, CM Menzel, Alex Marin, Fate Xavier, Indian Texan, and Chazak. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. I hope you're enjoying the nerdy spreadsheets I've been putting out there, and there's going to be plenty more to come, including anything you see in my videos moving forward. If you like these videos, please smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop me a comment below with anything that comes to mind. Let's grow. Bitcoin thoughts and portfolio fit. I think it's well known at this point that I'm a huge advocate of low-cost, passively managed ETF investing. If you're new to the channel, know that I'm a big proponent of the following. I think these are all successful investing strategies. A well-balanced ETF mix, which is a strategy that I use, the 3-fund portfolio, and that's the Jack Bogle way, and a low-cost S&P 500 fund, the Buffett recommendation to the masses. I do also like Bitcoin as the wild card within my portfolio. It only makes up about 2 to 3% of the total value. I find myself conflicted about how I feel about the long-term future of Bitcoin. Part of me loves the unique store of value compared to my traditional assets. I like the scarcity aspect that the halving process brings every 4 years, along with its decentralized nature. But the other part of me understands that it, as Warren Buffett has pointed out, doesn't produce anything. It's an inefficient and clunky means of payment, and it's already been involved in multiple controversies with fraud and bankruptcies. I'm a boring investor that's not a fan of the Wild West, but I do see potential in Bitcoin. Let's review its performance before diving into the full details of my new strategy. And look, the common saying that past performance doesn't guarantee future results has never been more true than it is with Bitcoin. Calling it a volatile asset is the understatement of a century. But as I always like to point out, understanding the future of anything will always add value to future decision making. Bitcoin performance. There isn't a lot to break down with the past performance of Bitcoin. Of course, it doesn't have any revenue and net income and qualitative information like the CEO's direction or anything like that. So let's just pull up a price history chart and call it a day. I found a high-level price history of Bitcoin out on Investopedia, and I think it's a great resource to use to explain my strategy. So we can see that Bitcoin's been around for many years now, and looking back at 2010, it was at 9 cents, and then of course it rapidly went up, it kept climbing here, and I'll be dollar cost averaging in all along this route. But then all of a sudden it takes a huge dive, like it tends to do, and it starts that climb again, and it goes a little higher the next time, and then it takes that dive, and we start the process over and over again. And right now, it's actually back up about here as of February 2024. So there's going to be climbs and there's going to be falls. And this dollar cost averaging strategy, I think, will work very well along with capturing the long-term capital gains. And we'll get more into detail about that later in the video. It's time to dive into the details of my new Bitcoin strategy. Trading Bitcoin? I don't often use the T word, but technically speaking, I will be doing some trading here. And I'm strictly a buy and hold investor. I do 0 day trading. But what I mean by trading Bitcoin is I'm going to have predetermined selling plans. And a quick side tangent before we get into this. On this channel, I will be reviewing multiple ETFs and other investing ideas. Know that my portfolio mix that I commonly share on this channel will not be changing unless I specifically address it. There are a lot of reaches and assumptions in the comments. And I say this because I want us to grow together and have this be a place where you can trust the methodology and follow through that I provide. Changes will be made over time as the world evolves and us with it, and I'll be sharing those moves and the reasons they were made. That said, this is my first official change since revealing my portfolio on the channel. I will be selling the 0.78 Bitcoin that I own directly, along with the little slice of Doge, and I'll be moving all the funds into my money market. I no longer trust the process of holding my own Bitcoin long-term on any exchange or even in cold storage. Now I'll be taking that money and dollar cost averaging it into one of the new Spot Bitcoin ETFs that popped up last month. I'm rolling with the iShares Bitcoin Trust ETF IBIT, and I picked that one out of the, I think there's 11 new ones. I selected that one because it has a high assets under management and a low expense ratio. The system I've selected for this will have me putting about 2% of my total portfolio value into IBIT over a rolling 52-week period. And I'm starting off the process by putting $500 in each Monday. So again, this is not new money. I'm selling the old position and trickling it back in. So I'm not doubling up on my Bitcoin. I'm just changing up how I obtain the Bitcoin and how I hold it moving forward. Now, once I've had the ball rolling for 53 weeks, I'm going to also be selling any long-term capital gains on the same Monday where I buy the new lot. For example, if the IBIT that I bought 53 weeks ago for $500, if that tax lot is now $950, I'll be selling it once I've held it for a year for the long-term capital gains taxes. I'll cost average in $500 back into IBIT, and I'll take the other $450 and trickle that into my main portfolio. Why? Now you're probably wondering what's wrong with me. And while we're not going to address that extensive list, I will cover the Bitcoin piece. So this is a little conflicting. I'll try to explain it as best as I can. I'm not comfortable holding Bitcoin for 10 to 15 years. But at the same time, I think it's very likely that Bitcoin will hit 100K, 200K, maybe even 500K per Bitcoin. Dare I say,
$1 million.
But of course, I have absolutely no clue when and if that will occur. I want to capture the gains real time at the favorable tax rate to make sure that I avoid a potential disaster. I could see a scenario where Bitcoin goes from 500,000 per Bitcoin down to zero or close to zero. It's already had a volatile and controversial history with all the frauds that have happened and all the bankruptcies and billionaires stealing money from everyday people. So I don't want to be the guy holding the bag when I've been cost averaging in and I have these millions of dollars of unrealized gains that just disappear overnight. I really do want a piece of the action with Bitcoin because the history shows it's been a good investment, but we never know when that's going to go poof. You know, I want a piece, but I don't want the whole thing. So no changes with the other 97 to 98% of my portfolio. I buy and hold my favorite ETFs to their allocations. Thank you for hearing me out on my thoughts about Bitcoin. Check out one of these two videos right here if you want to learn more about stuff that I have a much deeper understanding of. Thank you for watching, and I will see you here each and every Sunday, and usually on a Thursday. Peace.